unsolvable. It has spawned films, documentaries, myriad scholarly articles, and a plethora of books. Ironically, the most famous, Compulsion, was a novel, a fictionalized recounting of events in 1924. There have been psychological explorations, historical narratives of varying accuracy, an autobiography by Nathan Leopold, and bizarrely, even 2 books aimed at a young adult reading audience. Gallons of ink have been spilled over the case. Sometimes the facts seem set in stone. Yet, after a century, it's time to take a fresh look at the original crime of the century, to strip away the legends and challenge accepted history. The Leopold and Loeb case remains relevant today, encompassing as it did so many issues still in headlines: the death penalty, mental illness, anti-Semitism, homophobia, and the corrupting influence of money on the justice system. Darrow delivered an epic closing argument against the death penalty that spared his clients' young lives. A century has wrapped it in legend, extolling his brilliant advocacy. In truth, it was dishonest, disjointed, and often offensive. Then there's the groundbreaking courtroom battle of psychiatric arguments and Freudian theories, the first time such testimony took center stage in an effort to transform villains into victims. The wealthy Leopold and Loeb families hired a veritable who's who of American psychiatry to examine the pair. Defense alienists proposed a litany of alleged mitigating circumstances: abusive governesses, parental neglect, improper reading materials, and a host of minor physical ailments that, under Darrow's careful machinations, skirted the truth. The portraits fell just short of insanity, leaving the popular though erroneous impression that these 2 young defendants were, at best, emotionally fragile, and, at worst, so mentally damaged that they had been unable to resist their murderous compulsions. Newspapers played up the fact that the Leopolds, the Loebs, and Bobby Frank's family were all Jewish. It didn't matter that the Leopolds were far from observant, that Richard Loeb's mother was Catholic, or that the Franks family had converted to Christian Science. Much public opinion seemed to have lumped them all together. For some, their Jewish roots made them alien. Jewish intellect, it was said, fed the crime, and Jewish money corrupted them and defeated justice. And, from the first, whispers surrounded the nature of Leopold and Loeb's relationship. Even the most sensational newspapers refrained from printing the details, instead merely referring to the pair's perversions. The truth burst forth in stunning testimony during their trial. Nathan was gay, and Richard had gone along with his sexual demands in order to secure him as an accomplice. The issue was deemed so shocking in 1924 that at one point the presiding judge ordered all women from his courtroom, lest details offend their refined sensibilities. It left the distasteful and inaccurate idea that the pair had killed only because of their sexuality. Or, Darrow and others suggested, it was money that had corrupted their young minds and driven them to murder. Not want of it. Until their incarcerations, Leopold and Loeb lived in mansions, drove fast cars, sported the latest fashions, and freely indulged their every desire. Rather, defenders and critics alike claimed it was this privilege that had so corrupted them and freed them from any sense of social obligation. It was perhaps the earliest example of what became known as the affluenza defense, a strategy echoed in 2013 when 16-year-old Texan Ethan Crouch killed 4 people while driving under the influence and tried to claim that wealth had stripped him of an ability to determine right from wrong. Here, we have tried to answer the remaining questions. Did Leopold and Loeb commit other murders? Who actually killed Bobby Franks? Was he sexually assaulted? Did Nathan have a hand in Richard's murder? Here, and often for the first time, we have attempted to address these issues at length, even if much is still speculative. We've also dug deeply into the psychological relationship between Leopold and Loeb. History, and Leopold, portrayed Loeb as the psychopathic impresario, with Nathan positioned as his